Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to specifically talk about Dungeons and Dragons and the required changes of Dungeons and Dragons that are needed from Dungeon Masters in order to change Dungeons and Dragons because of the release of the 2023 Marvel Multiverse RPG, right? And today I want to talk about that changes. We should immediately, all Dungeon Masters should switch to a one-page character sheet, okay? And walk all of our players through creating one player character sheets and using one player character sheets, and make the adjustments that are necessary to make one page character sheets the new standard. All right. So you're like, wait a second, Scott, why should Dungeon Masters have to do this? And also, why does the 2023 Marvel Multiverse RPG demand this? Those are all excellent questions, which I have answered in another video linked below. All right, let's go forward. Okay, so what is the change that Marvel Multiverse RPG demands from, specifically demands from Dungeon Masters? And it is the one-page character sheet. So first of all, why? Well, first of all, Marvel Multiverse role-playing game has done something that has never been done before in any tabletop role-playing game I've ever seen, and certainly not at the execution level that Matt Forbeck accomplished within Marvel Multiverse RPG. What is that? What is that change, right? Well, I'll give it to you. Okay, so basically, Marvel Multiverse RPG does not make any distinctions between player characters and non-player characters. It simply presents them as the same. And so all the villains and all the heroes in Marvel Multiverse RPG are playable, and they're all made with exactly the same process. This is fundamentally different than Dungeons and Dragons, right? Basically, Dungeons and Dragons has stat blocks for NPCs, stat blocks for NPC templates, right? But Matt Forbeck's Marvel Multiverse RPG eschews this, right, and puts every single playable character and playable non-player character on one page, and it works massively better than the current structure in Dungeons and Dragons, right? You have one piece of paper, you look at that piece of paper, and if the player looks at the piece of paper, if the dungeon master looks at the piece of paper, if a player hands their player character sheet to another player, all of them can see everything that is necessary to run that player character from one page. And what's actually even more astounding is these one-page character sheets that are in Marvel Multiverse RPG are actually more descriptive and better at showing a character's build than you would ever see in that's ever been accomplished ever for Dungeons and Dragons, right? So Dungeons and Dragons is coming from a 1974 legacy, and the standard character sheet is literally 3 pages long, right? It's all the main core stuff on the main sheet, then a spell list, and then a notes list, and a history list, and all these other and maybe a full length equipment list. And the reality is, Marvel Multiverse RPG has proven that this is completely unnecessary, right? Marvel Multiverse RPG is saying we can show you a rank 6 character with far more complexity than any rank 1 Dungeons and Dragons character, and everything is established on one page, right? So it is proving that the current design for Dungeons and Dragons is unnecessary, right? In that you do not need 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages to capture a standard Dungeons and Dragons character sheet. Now I understand you're saying, well, wait a second, Scott, why? Why would we do this? Why not just put it on as many pages as we want so we can have as much detail as we want? That's the entire point. You are going into too much detail. And why would we want to start to eschew detail and make Dungeons and Dragons more consumable and more accessible? So that we can grow it. Right now, we have this incredibly unwieldy beast that is really only played by the most charismatic, confident, intelligent readers of the world, right? there's a lot of people in the world who are not super geniuses who read thousands of pages, and I want them to play Dungeons and Dragons. So this is a very simple, very straightforward, very smart change that we can make to Dungeons and Dragons to say, you know what, we really are going to do everything we can to make this accessible. We're no longer going to hold this away from the masses, right? And so this is it's a very simple change. It's a simple change. It will be challenging to accomplish it, right? I definitely think it can be accomplished, and the ramifications of accomplish it are considerable, right? Like you might get into a situation where you're saying, okay, yeah, your character, you literally might pull off, powers and feats and abilities that a character has in order to get down to that 1 page limit, right? You're like, wait a second, you're saying, the mechanical build of the character would be less powerful? Yes, right? Like, because accessibility is important, right? So I truly believe that this should begin immediately. That all dungeon masters all dungeon masters should immediately say, from now on, it's a 1-page character sheet, right? And if you can't get your character down to 1 page, let's have a conversation and we'll work together to do it, right? And then the reason for this when the dungeon master, the players invite new people, there is a complexity limiter, right? Which is smart, fair, and reasonable. I think that is definitely the best way to go. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.